করছে জীবন কেটে বেকারত্বের জ্বালা, চাকরি জীবনের কাটতে রিবন। চলে এসো এই বেলা, চলে এসো এই বেলা। দিনকাল একদম ভালো না, চাকরি আজ খুবই রেয়ার। প্লেসমেন্টের দায়ভার আমরা তাই করছি শেয়ার। IASDর হাত ধরে হবে তোমার প্রথম রিক্রুট। তাই সব টেনশন যাও ভুলে, জীবন এবার হবে রিবুট। IASD করছে জীবন কেটে বেকারত্বের জ্বালা, চাকরি জীবনের কাটতে রিবন। চলে এসো এই বেলা, চলে এসো এই বেলা। ইংরেজি টেকনোলজি ভয় পাও বুঝি, হবে এবার সোজা। যাবে কোথা খুঁজছো বুঝি, এসো এখানে শেষ হবে তোমার খোঁজা। IASD করছে জীবন কেটে বেকারত্বের জ্বালা, চাকরি জীবনের কাটতে রিবন। চলে এসো এই বেলা, চলে এসো এই বেলা। জব গ্যারান্টি সার্টিফিকেট সবই চাও বুঝি, ভুলে টেনশনের বোঝা। IASD ঠিকানা পাবে এখানেই, শেষ পথ খোঁজা। IASD
एहसान है मेरी सांसों पर तुम्हारा, अनगिनत एहसान है। तेरी खुशहाली रहे कहता मेरा ईमान है। मेरी सांसों में तिरंगे की बुलंदी की दुआ, मेरी सांसों में तिरंगे की बुलंदी की दुआ। मेरे हिंदुस्तान तुझ पर जान भी कुर्बान है। मेरे हिंदुस्तान तुझ पर जान भी कुर्बान है।
প্রতিশ্রুতি নিরাপত্তা জানি আজ খুবই বিরল। কথা দিলাম আমি তবু আজ পথ হবে খুবই সরল। প্রতিশ্রুতি নিরাপত্তা জানি আজ খুবই বিরল। কথা দিলাম আমি তবু আজ পথ হবে খুবই সরল। সহায়তা পাবে সবটা প্রদর্শক অতি।
Hello, good evening, everybody. How are all you are doing? How many? I can see 5 people. Quickly join in. Uh, Welcome to today's session, today's class. I can see Mofinuddin, Alex. Who else is there? Shahana. Hi, Shahana. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Uh, who else is there? Can see Yasmin. Hi, Yasmin. I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you? I can also see Tofik. Hi, Tofik. Good evening. For me, it's still afternoon. I'm having my evening tea a little early because of you guys. Just a moment. Quickly join in. I can see 8 people. We'll wait for 2 more minutes maybe, and then we'll start. Rishi Protim Shorkar. I see this name, new name. Hi Rishi Protim, good evening and welcome to today's class. Ritik Pradhan, are you a new one? If anybody is new in this session today, joining in for the first time, then please introduce yourself. Tell me your name, which college you are studying in, which what you are pursuing, which year you are in. So please introduce yourself, little bit of yourself if you're here for the first time. I can see Ritik and Rishi new. I can't remember Ritik seeing you in previous classes. So both of you can, if you can, introduce yourself, that'll be great. Uh, okay, just a moment. So as you all know, myself Dilruba Haque. Um, I'm an industry expert. I have worked in the industry for 9 years, and whatever knowledge that I have gathered, I'm here to help you go into the industry and get a job for yourself. Uh, there could be many different ways you can get a job. I have mentioned what are the roles that are there that you can apply for, uh, what kind of companies that offer these kind of jobs. Today we will also share some of the employers name, the kind of companies that offer these kind of jobs, and we'll also know some basic concepts of clinical trial. So far we have done the classes for all the roles that is available in the market. A few of them, 7 8 we have discussed, and also we have done the basic concept of clinical research in the previous class. So whoever was not there in the previous class, you can go back and check, and also connect within your peer group. As sir also, whoever is aware of PV classes done by Aditya sir. So he also facilitates this, conversation cohort group where students can talk to each other and discuss. So similarly, you can also, we will slowly, because this is a new batch that we are developing. So we will also slowly, once we are into the course a little bit more, because this is even still a very early stage of our course. Once we will cover a few topics, then we will go into presentation cohort groups, and you can join in and discuss and share your knowledge. And definitely I will also help you with the CV preparation, and then how you can apply, where we can apply, anything and everything that you want to know about your job. And we will successfully, hopefully, every one of you will land a job near future. I can see Rishi. I'll just read on Rishi's. Hi ma'am, my name is Rishi. I'm a B Farm graduate from CIPT in 2024. I currently work as a QC analyst trainee at McLeod's Pharmaceutical, Sikkim. That's wonderful. Rishi, welcome to today's session. So, B Farm graduate in 2024, that means you have you're a pass out in 2024, right? Okay. So how is it going with your McLeod's Pharmaceutical, Sikkim? So when we were there, still some of our friends are still in Sikkim. Some people fell in love with Sikkim and they never wanted to leave Sikkim. Few worked there for some time and then moved to some other domains, like you are, maybe you also want to transition. And I would also want to know why you are in the class. How did you get to know about the class, and what is your expectation from the class, and what do you aspire, how is your QC analyst job going on, and do you want to do some, are you looking for some other opportunities, how is it for you? I would like to know that. Also another new boy I have seen. Hi Rudro, good evening. I saw another name that was new, Ritik. So hi Ritik, if you are still there, you please introduce yourself. It will be great to know who you are, where are you from, what do you do. So we have 10 participants, and we will Keep coming in your messages, and we will start today's session. So as I mentioned the previous class, that in every class beginning of the, because now we have started rolling, so every class will start with a small slido quiz based on the previous class. Okay, whatever we have studied, it will be a small little test, not test, a discussion maybe, and a participation from you all. So today also I have prepared a few questions, so quickly join in. I can see Tofik here. You can join in with this, you can scan this QR code and join. Otherwise, if you do not have a scanner, either way you can join through this link that is there in the chat. So either through this link you can join, or you can scan this QR code. So quickly join in, so that it's a very small six to seven questions, I guess. Is there a very fun quiz kind of a thing, so that I also know that how far you have understood, and what is there in your, how invested you are, how much you are understanding. That is also important. So I can see Tofik and Shubham joining in. Quickly, guys, we will not spend much time here. It's just a small, quick thing that we will be doing every time we start a new class. So we will quickly do this. So join as soon as possible, and we will finish it off and then go back to our studies. Okay. So I can see Tofik, Rudro, Yasmin, Alex, Shubham. So there are 10 people that are in the class right now, 9 people. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are there. Others quickly join. This is a rapid fire round. So it has to be quick. Quickly join, quickly answer, and quickly go back to the studies. Tofik, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can see 6 people. Where are others? If you are having any challenges, please mention it on the chat box. If you are not able to join in or anything, unfortunately, I fall in love with my job. And okay, so Rishi is saying something. Unfortunately, I didn't fall in love with my job, and that's why I want to switch in PV. I had an interest in PV from very beginning, but didn't get an opportunity before. Okay, that's great. Ritik also have introduced himself, but with ISD I can achieve my target. Definitely, Rishi, with ISD, and if you work hard enough, you will definitely can achieve your goal. So here in ISD, I am taking the CDM class. Aditya sir takes the PV class. So depending upon your interest, you can join both, or whichever you want to join in. And I think Ritik, hi ma'am, my name is Ritik Pradhan from Durgapur, West Bengal. Currently, I'm pursuing Bachelor's of Pharmacy from BC Roy Pharmacy College, Allied Health Sciences. Thank you. Ritik, which year student you are? Which year you are right now of your course? So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 11 people are there in the class 12, and I can see only 7 people joining. What happened to others? Quickly. Rishi and Ritik, um, I know this is your first class, most probably, but still, you can also join in, and then you can guess. It's a fun quiz, nothing, serious sort of. Nobody will punish you or anything. So you can just guess anything, because you are a pharmacy student, and the other one. Sorry, I'm bad with names. With time, I will get into your names. This is the first time I'm seeing, so I might forget a few times your name, but then don't mind. Rishi and Ritik, so you can also join in the quiz, and then guess based upon whatever knowledge you have, and then we can build in with time. So I 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So should we start? I have 8 people, so we will start once they start. They can join. Okay, so you keep joining, we will start the quiz. Okay, so there you go. This is your first 20 seconds time, so you have to be very quick. Okay, So what is clinical research primarily concerned with? Quickly, laboratory operations only. Okay, I'll not distract you. So anybody answering? Quick. You have to be very quick, okay? So 80% has given the right answer, 20% got wrong. Okay. So there you go. The next, okay. Which phase of clinical trials involves the largest number of participants? Be quick, okay? It's only 20 seconds. It's a rapid fire round. So you have to be very quick with your responses. There you go. Wonderful. 100% correct answer. That gives me such joy. Okay, that's lovely, lovely. Big round of applause for everybody. Okay, are you ready? We'll go to the next one. Ready? Okay. What is an informed consent form? Although we did not have a detailed discussion on that, but then you guys should know. I have mentioned what is an informed consent form to you. You should be answering this. I'm hoping for a few right answers. Great. 100%. How lovely. See, isn't it exciting? Okay, that's wonderful. Answers perfectly correct. Okay, next, let's go to the next one. Who sponsors clinical trial? This also we discussed in our previous class. So you should be knowing this. In our section where we discussed who all are involved in the clinical trial process. Okay, lovely. Great going, guys. I love the enthusiasm. Great. So, okay. Zidane, okay. Okay, we'll quickly finish the quiz. Go back to the next. You need a breather? Okay. 1 minute breather, and then we'll go to the next one, okay? In between, we'll check if there is any new person joining. We have Sheikh Zidane. Hi, Zidane. Good evening. How are you doing? That's all right. Try to be on time. It'll be great. And yeah, so we are done with our breather. We will go to our next question, okay? Quickly. So, next question is, what is the role of a clinical research associate? This you should be definitely knowing. 2 consecutive classes we have discussed in detail which role is what. Lovely. 10 on 10. So good to see all of you participating and doing such wonderful job. Oh, and we have the winner, Tofik Ahmed Mullah. Tofik, congratulations. And then Yasmin 5 on 5, Rudro 5 on 5, Shubham 5 on 5. And then Rishi, that's great, Rishi, to see you have the basic knowledge 4 on 5. These are our top 5 participants. And congratulations to all of you who have participated and scored such great numbers. Okay, so thank you very much. Lovely. I'll quickly just take a screenshot of your wonderful performance. Great. Thank you, Yasmin. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. And it's a great way, the idea is when I was little, I was in, when since 8th class, the maths teacher that I used to go to, so what he had this funda was every day whatever he is teaching, the next day it was used to be 10 quick. So he was our maths teacher. So every day before our class used to start, he used to give two questions, only two from the previous lessons, but then there used to be one quiz and exam every day, and that, you know, that keeps the students engaged into your day and your studies, and then makes them, keeps them motivated also. So I also want to do the same with you guys. So yeah, it's great to know that you guys enjoyed. Thank you, ma'am, for this quiz session. Thank. Okay, Tofik is saying, thank you, ma'am, for this quiz session. It's really amazing. Most welcome. Um, it's great to know. Okay, Rishi is also saying, ma'am, where can I get notes of the previous class? Rishi, you can just go to that ISD platform, ISD YouTube channel, and then you can access all the classes. Uh, all the classes are, you know, available in the, you know, YouTube video live sessions. So you can go and cross check all the previous classes that are, and it will also be available after the 10th class on Google Class. So we will be doing there also. And first, okay, so thank you for participating in the quiz. Now we will go, get into the, okay, I'll just check, and then I'll, we will make that private. Okay, I will just check and get back to you. Okay, you can access them for now. For now it is available with everybody. I'll just check and get back to you on that. Okay, so now for today's class, we will start with today's class. Give him one moment, we will start shortly. So, hello everybody, welcome once again to today's session. We will start with today's session. So, last day we have learned about the basics of clinical research, what is clinical research, why it is done, what is the different types of clinical research, and also about the basics of clinical trial. Also, we have learned who all are involved in the clinical trials, what are the kind of institutions or that, you know, allows or that conducts clinical trial and clinical research. So today we will move on with our next concepts, some common concepts of clinical trial, and I'll just share my slides with you. Just a moment. Yes. Okay, so we have covered till, in last class we have covered until this slide where we have discussed who all are involved in clinical trial roles, and in what capacity they are involved. Okay, Debojyoti Maiti. Hi, Debojyoti. Good evening. I think you are a new person joining in. If you are, then please introduce yourself. Where are you from? Which college? Which year? What you are pursuing? And why do you want to? Um, what are you looking for? Why do you want to join this class? And we will start with today's class. Okay. So today we will discuss some basic concepts of clinical trial. Okay, so there are few common phrases or terms that are used in clinical trials. Um, um, there go- these are like this goes like this. So informed consent, we have already discussed informed consent previously. Today we will discuss a little bit more about informed consent. I will show you a template of informed consent, what it is, how it looks, and what it contains. Also, we have previously very briefly talked about protocol. We'll talk a little more about protocol today. So what is protocol and what is its importance, and why do I require a protocol while conducting a clinical trial? Next is cohort. The older students of ISD is familiar with this word cohort, because Aditya sir runs a cohort group where they can discuss. So basically cohort means a group of people. So basically cohort means a group, so it's an acronym, you can say. So, not acronym, it's another word of group. A group of anything is called can be called as a cohort. And there is another word called placebo. I'm sure the pharmacy students here would know the word, or somewhere you have heard about the placebo word. We will discuss more about it. And also there is a word called investigational product, so we'll talk about that. And then just we will talk about control group. So pharmacy students or bachelor's or master's students who have done their dissertation or any kind of experiment, you should be aware of this term called control group. Also, for the endpoint is a very important word in clinical trials, because we are looking for endpoints, certain endpoints with this that is decided in clinical trial. And endpoint is the goal towards which we walk through the entire process of clinical trial. Okay. And then interim analysis is another very important topic. So these are few basic concepts that we will be discussing. uh, so first we will start with informed consent. So what happens? Consent, we everybody understand the meaning of consent. Consent means you have to um, if like whoever, consent means your approval. So these clinical trials are um, conducted for the betterment of any disease, any new drug that we are creating. Just a moment, I'll just check this comment. Hello, ma'am. My name is Dipojyoti Maiti from Bengal. I'm third year student of B Farm from CCOM Skill University, Bolpur. That's great. Thank you, Dipojyoti. Please stay tuned, and we will discuss about clinical trial. And thank you for joining. So yeah, so we were talking about informed consent. It's the approval that is needed from the patient before somebody is getting into a trial. So as we can understand, the clinical trial is a, as the name suggests, it's a trial. Okay, so it's not a 100% approved or proven product. Okay, so in the clinical trial there could be some benefits, there could be some adverse reactions also. Okay, so there could be some risks also. But to get some you know to create, you have to always take risk to get to a better product or better results. So whoever is participating in clinical trial, they are aware of the the upcoming risks or the potential risk that it can associate with. So that, but they have to be aware. So there will be risk, they know, but then what are the risks, it has to be specified. So if there is a cancer study, that is a patient enrolling in, or a diabetes study, or a migraine study, or anything that anything, and an asthma study, it could be anything, or a vaccine. So what are the benefits, what are the risks, whoever the patients, the subjects that are getting in, they should be well aware of. And what is the objective of the study, what the you know the trial, what is the goal of the trial, what they're trying to achieve, and what will be the benefits that they will receive from the study, what could be the potential risks. It has to be made aware to the patient before they can get enrolled into the study. So there is a form where all these details are written, that through the study, the sponsor or the company that is running the trial, what they're trying to achieve, and what could be the benefits for the subject they are enrolling, possible benefits, and what could be the possible risks associated with it. After knowing all everything, and then there could be all this information, like all this information that is gathered during the trial, they also get archived for some specified time, so all this documentation, so personal information will also be shared. So many people are not always how do I say, not always comfortable sharing their personal details. So all these things also is mentioned in the form, that if they're okay with sharing their personal details, if they're okay with sharing, keeping their information stored on the archive for certain amount of time, depending upon the trials requirement, and definitely the benefits, the risk, the objectives, all these things. After reading them, understanding them, if they agree to all these uh, all these factors, and they give their consent, then only one can be part of a clinical trial study. And now it's a very voluntary process. At any given point during the study, if they feel the subject that maybe whatever their expectation was, that is not getting fulfilled, or some other problem is happening, maybe the site is too far, they're not able to commute, or for very many reasons, it could be any personal reason, whatever. So if at any given point during the trial, if the subject decides to withdraw the consent, then they have the full liberty of doing so. And if they says that I do not want to any further be a part of this study, then the trial cannot hold them back, they have to release them immediately. So for that case, when an actual study is live, and when an actual study is running, we see there are a lot of drop-offs that happen with the reason. So when a study is happening, each and every detail we as the person or the people who are running the trial, we as a CDM, clinical data management team, or the CRC team, everything needs to be documented. Okay, so anything documented has happened, anything which is not documented did not happen. Okay, so if each and every small details needs to be documented. And so when the actual trial runs, you can see in the database there will be a lot of reason that is given for a subject to leave the study as withdrawal consent, and we have to accept it. Okay, so we will see what is there, what our slide says. So ensures that participants understand the risks, benefits, and objectives of the trial before agreeing to take part. And it has to be before, once the informed consent. So once we go into the study, and the first page of the data capture. Informed consent date is a very important and vital information that needs to be captured, and any data that needs to be collected from that patient should be after the informed consent date. So that is a check also that needs to be checked, that any information that is taken before informed consent is a wrong data. After the signature of the informed consent, then only we can take any information from the subject and document it for our study. And what is the second point saying? Participants voluntarily agree to participate based on the information provided. We will quickly go and see a format of an informed consent, how it looks and what it consists of. Okay. Just a moment. Mm, I hope it is visible. So this is a informed consent look like. I'll just scroll through. Okay, so this is informed consent form, and what it consists, the purpose of the research, the purpose of the research, the type of research intervention, that is questionnaire, interview, how the so the purpose of the research and the type of research, if it is so as we discussed previously, a clinical research could be of many type. So if it is a clinical trial, then the type of research and what it is trying to achieve, that is also should be mentioned. Voluntary nature of the participation, benefits and risks. So we will go down and see how it looks. So as we see, so can you see here is a checkbox to every question. Okay, so the person who wants to take part in the clinical trial, they will read, understand, and then they will tick this whether they agree or not as accordingly, and then only there will be towards the end there will be signature place, they will be signing. So what what it is saying, taking part of the study. So this is a format because we can't show you, or nobody can, all these are confidential information. So the original ones will not be available for the public to see. So this is just a template that we are showing you, where we can see and know that exactly how it goes. So what it is saying, taking part in the study. So can you see it is saying I have read and understood. So it is the first person, first hand. So the participant is reading and understanding it. That's why it is on the first person basis, that I have understood and understood. Suppose you are a patient and you are reading it, so you it will go like, I have read and understood the study information, dated. So the date will be mentioned, so or it has been read to me. In there will be provision where if it is an elderly patient or very sick patient, so you can read it aloud to them also. And I have been able to ask questions. So whatever questions a patient before joining in into the study, they might have a lot of questions. So all questions needs to be truthfully and clearly answered before they get into the study. So that's what it is mentioned, that I have been able to ask questions about the study and my questions have been answered to my satisfaction. There is no chance of ambiguity. When before somebody is joining in, it has to be completely clear or made to clear to that patient that what is the treatment that they're receiving, what benefit they will be achieving from them, and at what degree, suppose whatever disease they are having, if it is an oncology, then how they will be benefiting from the study. Their tumor will be reducing, they will expect a longer life expectancy, such other parameters. There could be different parameters to it, so that needs to be defined clearly. And consent, next is the consent voluntarily to be participate, to be a participant in the study. So it has to be voluntary. So these are the uh, fields that needs to be uh, filled in before one can enroll into the clinical trial. So I'll just go through it. So they will also be aware of the study details also. The I understand the information provided will be used for. So suppose an oncology study is happening, so the patient will also made understand that with the data that the trial is the sponsor is conducting the trial, and with the data what they are achieving to do. So that is also needs to be understood by the subject. And overall, after all these forms and fields that they will fill, so can you see here there is a section also, future use and reuse of the information by others. Because when a study is conducted and there is a hell lot of data that is collected, and it is there is a repository where all the study data is archived, depending upon the regulatory requirements of, there could be depending, it depends upon the regulatory board and the type of study. So how many years you need to archive the data, so they need to be taken permission for that also, so that their data can be used or archived. I will give you an example here in the UK. What happens, suppose somebody is going through a surgery, suppose somebody is going through a gallbladder surgery, where a gallbladder is removed. So they will take an they also take a consent form, where they says that once the organ is removed, if you give the consent, then they will test it further, to check if whatever wrong was happening or anything wrong was going on or not. So for further study or further research, they will take consent from you previously. If you give consent, they will do the further test. If not, then they will not do. So it totally depends upon the consent, type of consent. Okay, so towards the end, the signature happens with the date and the participant's name. Okay, so this is how roughly an informed consent look like. And now we will go to our slides. So hope informed consent is clear to you guys. I'll take a question. I think there is one. Are the volunteers participating paid? If yes, who pays them? Yes, there are paid volunteers, and the sponsors pay them. Okay, so all the expenditure that is happening is from the sponsors' pocket. So sponsors, who sponsors, it could be the pharmaceutical company, it could be government, it could be any institution, any research center. So whoever is conducting the trial would be taking care of the all the expenditures that is associated with the trial. So next is a very important document that is associated in clinical trial process, that is protocol. In clinical trial world, protocol is considered as the bible of clinical trial. Okay, so this document includes everything that you need to know for your clinical the study to be conducted. So we will quickly go through the slide points, and then we will look into a protocol sample and discuss about it. So, a detailed plan of the trial that includes its objectives, design, methodology, and statistical analysis. Okay, so the protocol tells you why the study is being done, how it will be done, so the study design, who all will be involved. Okay, what will be the process, each and every process described, methodology, and the statistical analysis. So as we discussed previously, that once we take all the data, gather all the data, we can't just dump the data to the regulatory or authority saying, take, we have collected all this data and now you go dive in the data. So that's not how it works. So once you collect all the data, you have to represent it in a statistical analysis way, where with charts, with diagrams, with numbers, so that you can see a pattern of data, how if there is an increased number of adverse event, if there is risk, these kind of patterns we need to create from the data that we have collected so far. So that is called statistical analysis. Statisticians, biostatisticians are involved in this process. So those kind of representation goes to the regulatory authorities to see. Because for so long, a trial runs for a long period of time, and in this time you collect thousands of data. So that cannot be it cannot, the regulatory authorities cannot look through all of them and then decide. So it should be a better representation of it, which is a statistical representation. So that's what statistical analysis of the data is also involved, and now ensures that the trial is conducted in a systematic and scientifically valid way. So protocol gives you the roadmap through which on which you will walk during the clinical trial process. This will guide you towards your goal. Okay, so we will quickly look into a protocol template where we will get a better understanding of what protocol is. uh, yeah. So there you go. There is a protocol. It is visible, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is how protocol starts with the study title. As this is a sample, again, all the study data that is all the data that is associated with the study is confidential. So but I can give you a better trial study name also, but then okay, I'll come to that, but then let's discuss the format first. So here the study title comes in, and then the protocol number, investigational product. So investigational product, okay, so it is merging. I will come to investigational product later also, so I'll quickly say. So suppose there is an oncology study. Okay, something went wrong. Yeah, we're back. So we will see the study title here, the protocol number. Every protocol will be given a number. Okay, so that will be a protocol number, and mostly the studies are, while working in the study, that study will be called with the protocol number only. So mostly the protocol numbers are the names that you call during the study life cycle. And then the investigational product, suppose you are working on an oncology study. So the product, the molecule, the drug that you are testing on, the product that is getting tested is called investigational product. Okay, and then while doing all this documentation, there could be different versions of it. I'll not take much time of it. I'll go give you an overview, because there will be classes later on where we will be detailed, we will study all these topics one by one. So I'll give you a quick view of what a protocol looks like. Okay, so, and can you see, as we discussed a previous day, principal investigator. So PI will be the one who is in charge entirely, entirety of the study. Principal investigator will be in charge of the study. So in this protocol, the principal investigator's name, basically who all are involved in the study, everybody's name will be provided in the study protocol also. Okay, so we will go through it. uh, so all the people, different people who are involved in the study, they needs to sign once the protocol document is completed also. And there is a quick list of abbreviations. So during the entire document of protocol, there could be different abbreviations that is used for the, for a better quick writing of the process. So each time, instead of writing the whole name, the abbreviations are used, many abbreviations are used to. So this is the uh, part where you can refer all the abbreviations, what do they mean, like AE is adverse event, LP. So all these. So during the process, we take a lot of samples and do a lot of analysis. So these are the name of the parameters which gets tested. So all these names, so in the form, full names of these are not mentioned, so they are mentioned in this abbreviation list. Like you can see, I hope everybody has seen a blood test report of some, any report that that comes from a lab. So you can see all they have, also they also mention in this abbreviation way, and these are the full forms that you can refer from. Okay, so like AST, aspartate and aminotransferase, anything, blood, urea, nitrogen, and many others. Okay, so here also ICF, informed consent form, ICH, everything is written here. Okay, and now the comes the part where the table of contents happens. So in the beginning, they say, it says which page conducts which, because during the study life cycle, when the study is live, it is always encouraged to keep your documents handy and keep your documents always open for reference. So when uh, any of the roles, be it CRC, CRA, CDM, whoever is working in the study, they will have to, time and time they have to, because it is not important, it is not humanly possible, because at a time you might be working in 2 or 3 studies or multiple studies, even more. So you cannot by heart all this information. So but then you can't be guessing also that maybe this was written in the protocol. So you can't do like that, you have to be certain about it. Okay, so there will be thousand time a day while working in a study, you have to go back to and refer to your protocol. So you have to keep your protocol always handy. So that's why this table of content. So so that it will be easier for you to navigate which part of the process you want to refer, and you can quickly find it. So as we can see, the signature part, abbreviation part, and then the background, the indication means, if it is a cancer study, suppose we are for XY, with the use of XYZ drug, we are trying to see some effects of on a breast cancer patient. So breast cancer will be the indication of that study. Okay, so the targeted disease is called the indication. If it is a diabetes study, then the diabetes will be the indication of the study. Okay, similarly, whatever, if it is an asthma, if it is a um, anything, any whatever the disease that is the concerned disease is the indication of the study. So, and then the background of I, so you can see the rationale of the study, why the study is done, and then how the mechanism of action of the disease is also mentioned, and the drug is also mentioned, and then endpoints are mentioned. We will come to endpoints. What is endpoint? And then can you see? So can you have to, we will dig deep when we will be studying protocol explicitly, but now it will be too much for you right now. But then what you can on top focus, that in introduction we are knowing about why the study is getting done, and what is the reason, what is the mechanism, what is the disease that we are getting tested. So that's then the objective. Then with by doing this trial, what we are trying to achieve. Okay, so that's the objectives. The main objectives will be the primary one. There will be secondary and exploratory also. The different objectives are there for which we run the study. So that are called, the objectives are called endpoints. Okay, and then the study design. So how can you see here the sample size? Sample size meaning how many subjects will be. So there will be for each and every study, depending upon the phase it is in, so there will be a sample size that can be predicted, that this is a phase 2 study and we predict that there will be maybe 500 or 600 subjects we are expecting. Okay, so that is called sample size. And then eligibility criteria, inclusion exclusion criteria. Okay, we will also talk about inclusion exclusion criteria also. We have done it before briefly. Today also we will do it. And then uh, so basically, who all are eligible? So suppose you are running a breast cancer patient, then definitely your subject should be female, and then they should have like a breast cancer happening, because if somebody is having a prostate cancer, they cannot be eligible for a breast cancer study, right? So these kind of things, obvious things. And then there will be some other criterias also, the age factor. There could be thousands of factors that could be in the eligibility. And eligibility criteria, there are some criterias which will be mentioned that should be there in the patient to be included into the study, and exclusion criteria will also be mentioned. Suppose if inclusion criteria is 18 and above, then the exclusion criteria will be that below 18 we cannot take the subject into the study. Like this, there will be detailed of it. Okay, also we will see. So can you see here they are saying duration of the treatment, duration of follow up, all these things are mentioned. Okay, so how long the study will be conducted, once the study drug is completed, how long we will follow up. For cancer patients, the follow up needs there are plenty of cases where the follow up is happening, that after we have to see the long term effects of the drug also. So maybe for 2 months, 3 months follow up visits also is does happen, where they are not taking the treatment anymore, but we want to see the drugs effect long term. So for that follow up visits also happen. So that will also be defined, that how long, maybe for 3 months we will do follow up, or 6 months we will be following up. And then follow up process also, how they will come to the site, or telephonic follow up will happen or not, all these kind of details. So how it will be done, that is also will be written in the follow up a protocol. Okay, now you can see the treatment plan. Okay, how, what will be the dose, how it will be administered, if it is a tablet form, if it is a you have to give it through injections or not, how the dose will be given, everything. So whatever, each and every step that you will be each and every step that will be taking during your trial will be discussed and written in this protocol. So as you can see, the screening period, treatment period, how the end of treatment will happen. Okay, so everything will be written there, and then the safety parameters, how, if the adverse event will be updated, the serious adverse events, everything. So this is how our protocol looks like. Okay, so there is a lot of other information also, I will not confuse you today with that. So overall, I hope you get a view that what happens in the protocol. This is the table of contents that we are seeing. Once we get into inside the document, depending upon the volume, it could be 100 pages also, it could be 50, 60, 70, depending upon the complexity of the study. The protocol will be of consisting of the pages. So let's go inside and see how it is written. So this is how each and every topic is discussed: study objectives, primary objectives, secondary objectives. Okay, study design. Okay, sample size, eligibility criteria, this is how it is written, eligibility criteria, all of them, and exclusion criteria also, and we have to follow it. So protocol is called as I can reiterate, that it is the bible of your clinical trial study, so you have to follow it bit by bit. Okay, so this is a glimpse of how your protocol looks like. Okay, I'm just looking for so I have in my personal system. So yeah, this is what I wanted to show you quickly. So can you see, this is a study calendar when we will be, I have a question. Ma'am, is the protocol designed as per regulatory guidelines, as per sponsor? As per regulatory guidelines and as per sponsors both. So sponsor needs to wants to achieve a certain goal, but there will be regulatory guidelines. By following them on that, the guideline only, they will be designing the protocol. Did I answer your question, Jagdish? If it is not clear, if you want some more clarification, you can mention too. Okay, so the requirements are from sponsor, but then everything that is happening has to be like everybody have to abide by regulatory guidelines. So this is what I wanted to show you. So when we will be studying more about protocol and how the study design happens, we will see this more. But in protocol, this is the study design. Okay, so this is called schedule of assessment. Here it is saying study calendar, but in technical term we call it schedule of assessment. Where can you see, just a moment. Yeah, so here all the cycle, the screening visit, the how many cycles are there. So this is an example, so it is only mentioned cycle 2. So as, so whatever cycles there will be, so it will be mentioned here, and then end of treatment. So once the treatment is done, so that visits is called end of treatment, and then safety follow up, survival. So all this comes more often in oncology, because survival is a big issue there. And then here can you see all the activities that needs to be done is mentioned, like vital signs needs to be taken, what are the assessments that need to be done. And here this checkbox means if it is a assessment and it is checked here, then you have to do your assessment here. So instead of tick box, they do it this way, that cross. This means in this visit this assessment needs to be done. So in protocol this also is mentioned, that which visits, what all are the assessments are there, visits are there, that will be mentioned here. And in this form of layout they will, it is written that on which visit what will be the activity that needs to be done. This is a roadmap that needs to be followed. Okay, this is called schedule of assessment. We will study all these things later on in detail, so I wanted to give you just a glimpse of it. So can you see here all the lab tests that needs to be done? So here whatever study it is, it's a template format. So they are saying that on the screening visit we will be having all this laboratory assessment, but going on, if there is, suppose we need to take do hematology here also, here also, here also, so all this will be cross checked. This means this you will understand that on the screening visit hematology needs to be done. Okay, and likewise, so this is how it is there. So as you can see, everything, it's a very long detailed documentation, and you have all the information that is needed here. So 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 this is how your protocol looks like in a nutshell. So you have to be swear by it, and then everything that you need to know, you can go back and refer from the protocol. So protocol is very 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 important document for a clinical trial study. Now then we will next go move on to the other concepts quickly. There is a word called cohort. Many of you, I have a question from Rudra. The places where cross marks are not marked, it not have been done. Correct. So where the cross mark is done, that means on that visit, that particular assessment or the lab, the activity will be done. If there is no cross mark, then that will not be happening there. You are correct. Okay, so now we will come to cohort. Many of you understand the cohort. So cohort is group. So when your study is happening, many a times we have to divide the subjects. Suppose 100 subjects are there, we need to divide them in different groups in order to provide them different study drugs or different types of drug. There could be experimental drug which will be, one could be a mixed dose, one could be a single dose, these kind of things. So for that we need to divide them in groups. Also there could be another aspect also, it could be an age group also, or the disease stage. Maybe somebody is having an initial stage 1 disease, or maybe the stage 2 disease. It depends upon the study or the type of what do I say, what type of disease that we are dealing with. In that we might have to divide the subjects in different groups, so that will be called as cohort. So what we will go through our slide notes. A group of participants who share common characteristics and are studied over a specific time of period. So the group of subjects that we are dividing in different groups in order to run our study is called as cohort. So this is a very commonly used term in clinical trials. Next is placebo. So we will just quickly go through what our slide is saying, and then we'll discuss this thing. So an inactive substance or treatment that looks like an experiment. experimental drug and used to compare the effects of the experiment drug with no treatment to see if your drug's effect is real. So when a study is conducted, so investigational drug, as I mentioned, the drug that we are trying to test its effective efficacy, safety, so that is our investigational drug. So but when you are giving a drug to a particular patient, the effect that is showing, but then you have to compare their effects with something, right? So you have to have a control group. So control group will, so your participants will be divided into two groups, where one group will be not receiving the investigational product. The studies are designed in some way that we keep some who does receive the investigational product, and other group who does not do not receive the investigational product. And then at the end we will compare the control group which is not receiving the investigational product in reference to the people who is receiving the investigational product. So we will have two groups, one who is not receiving to compare with who is receiving, so that we can see the difference, that the people who are receiving the product, how that product is affecting on them. So the control group who is not receiving the experimental drug, so there is a concept called blinding, so we'll come to that also a little bit later. So um, during the blinding, so I think let's make it, suppose there is a trial happening, okay? Now 100 people are there, we will divide them randomly, okay, without any bias. Randomly we will divide them in two groups, and one group will receive a placebo, one group will receive a treatment. They will not be knowing, the patients will not be knowing. So here we are covering a few common concepts together. So one group will receive the placebo, one group will receive the investigational drug. Now the group who is receiving the placebo will be called as control group. This is our control, this is our reference group, okay? With reference to this, when we are giving the other group investigational product, then we will know this is the normal state, and after giving the product, this is how our effectiveness is, the drug is getting effective, okay, onto the body. So this is our control group. Now the control group receives substance, not medicine, but it looks like an experimental drug. They will not know what they are receiving, but instead of investigational drug, there needs to be given maybe some saline water or something. If it is ingestible, then some maybe vitamins or these kind of things, which will not affect you medically. And so that other product which they are receiving is called placebo, and in respect to that, the other group will receive the investigational product. So this is called the other substance in a trial. Instead of the investigational product, the other substance that is given to the non effective, non harmful product that is given to the subject is called a placebo, okay? Placebo is always a control, it is not the effective drug, it is a neutral one. It will not give you any effectiveness, okay? It is just a standardization process, okay? So that's the placebo. Now we have also in turn covered the investigational product. So one person is giving taking placebo, the other person is getting investigational product. It is refers to a drug, device, or biological being which is actually getting tested, okay? The product which is actually getting tested, that thing is called investigational product, which we are investigating, as the name suggests, okay? Now we will go to the next slide. Okay, so as you can see, while discussing, we also discuss the control group also. So one is, so control group is a group of participants who do not receive the experimental treatment, allow for comparison to the experimental group. This help identify the actual effect of the intervention. So they are the control group from, they are the control group, they are the baseline. On the basis of them, the experimental drugs effects will be compared. Okay, so that is control group. And now, the next concept that we will be talking about is endpoints. Placebo is no therapeutic effect, correct. Now, next is endpoint. So as we can see, as we show in the protocol also, that there were a section which was endpoints. Okay, so endpoint is the ultimate goal that we are trying to achieve through conducting the clinical trial. So specific outcome measures to determine whether the intervention works, like survival rate, symptom, whatever the specific sponsor is trying to achieve from that specific, what do you say, the trial that they are conducting. Okay, so the specific outcome is measured to determine whether the intervention works or not. So that is our endpoint. So generally, when a study trial is happening, there will be a primary endpoint and a secondary endpoint. Yes, Rishi, that's correct. The placebo is given to the control group. Um so there will be two types of endpoint. Primarily, it is a primary endpoint and secondary endpoint. So the main outcome measures, uh, the main outcome that we are measuring by doing or conducting the study is called primary outcome, a primary endpoint. And if there is an additional outcome that is, we are desiring to see or check through the trial, that is called additional outcomes of interest that complement the primary endpoint, uh, that will be calling as secondary endpoint. We will understand with an example. Okay, so suppose for a clinical trial of a new cancer drug, might so suppose there is a new cancer drug trial happening where we are seeing that with this drug we are checking the survival rate. Okay, so as we all know that in the cancer studies, survival is a big concern, because we lose a lot of patients because they die, they cannot take the medicine, they cannot cope up with the treatment. So and it is so harsh on the body. Okay, so maybe suppose there is an XYZ drug that is getting tested for its survival, overall survival, that once I'm giving this drug, how long the patients are getting survived, like how long their life expectancy is increased. Okay, so there could be different primary outcomes endpoints. So some focus on the tumor, how much this tumor is getting reduced. Okay, irrespective of if the survival is longer or not. So that could be one primary endpoint. So it depends upon the sponsor what they are primarily looking into. Okay, so if they are looking into the they are more concerned about reducing the size of the tumor, because when the cancer therapies, because I'm giving you more examples on the cancer therapy because I have worked on cancer studies for a very long time. Mostly, in my career, 6 7 years I have worked in cancer studies only. So I'm giving you those examples. So when a cancer study is happening, so there is a tumor. Okay, and the primary goal is to reduce the tumor. Okay, so for a studied drug, for the sponsor for that particular study, their primary endpoint could be that they want to know with the drug if the tumor is reducing or not. Okay, so how a progress of a cancer patient is determined by measuring the size of the tumor, if the tumor is getting reduced completely, cured, like completely vanished or not. So like that, so maybe for the study or that currently we are conducting, we want to look that whether how quickly and um, you know how effectively the tumor is getting reduced. That could be my primary endpoint. Okay, and then what could be our secondary endpoint, that with the receiving of the drug, how much remission is happening, or how the expectancy is increasing, or how much we can for a longer period of time secondarily, because in any way you are giving that medicine to the subject. So along with the tumor reduction, we can also check if that patient is living longer, that patient is getting more adverse effects or not, short term adverse effects, how the short term adverse effects are there, how the long term adverse effects are there, if there are any changes in their overall quality of life or tumor response. Maybe suppose it is for within 3 months the tumor, initially when you are giving the trial, where during the trial maybe giving the medicine, and suppose the tumor has gone reduced, but maybe after 3 months or 6 months it is reappearing. So there could be thousands of things that in a trial or in a study can be studied. So but primarily it depends upon the sponsor. They decide that this is the primary outcome that needs to be measured, so that is called or mentioned as primary endpoint, and rest of the things that can also be measured is called as secondary endpoint of a study. Okay, so if you guys have any question, please keep mentioning like you are doing. I will on the go will keep you keep your questions answered. So this is our endpoint concept. So that the this is our main outcome, and then along with as we are giving the product, what other information also can we take from um, the entire study. So there is another endpoint that also comes, is called exploratory, that is like maybe you can say primary, secondary, and the third point, that is even for a longer period what effects is happening, some more information, that as much as information that we can get from a study, because running a study is a very expensive business, and lots and lots of money and people is invested. So as much as information that can be collected is good for the sponsor, and those data can be used in any way. Rishi is asking something, ma'am, can we say that vasodilation is the therapy endpoint of minoxidil and hair growth is the secondary endpoint? Correct. Yes, you can say that the primary endpoint is how much it is, the vasodilation is it is doing, and how much actively hair growth it is promoting. That will be your primary endpoint. But then minoxidil does uh, do other facial hair and other things, so those can be your secondary endpoint. Your understanding is correct. So next is interim analysis. So what our slide says, an analysis conducted before the trial is completed to evaluate early results may lead to changes in the trial protocol or early termination of the subject. Okay, so this we will understand. So what happens is, as we saw, we have a roadmap called protocol. Now, it's a very long process, the trial, and expensive. Okay, so we have to ensure that whatever we are trying to achieve, our study is working on that path or not. So interim analysis is done uh, in between the study, but ma'am, it does not complement the secondary endpoint. I did not get your question, Rishi. Uh, it doesn't have to complement because if what do you mean by complement? If you could mention, because what the idea is when a study drug is given, okay, so it's anyway affecting on your body. So primary, so and there could be different outcomes than depending upon the sponsor's interest, what they want to first know the basics of, if they want to know that how long the subject is living, then that will be your their primary, that's the major um, outcome that they want to achieve from the study. Then that will be their primary outcome. It's completely depending upon, there could be different results that you are getting from a study. It depends, completely depends upon the sponsor, uh, what they are trying to focus primarily, so that they will be tagging as primary endpoint, and what they will be the additional information that we are getting by doing the trial will be on the secondary endpoint. But you can mention what there is no relation between. So see, there is no relation between vasodilation and hair. So isn't that is what by doing the trial, running the trial, that is what they're trying to uh, what do you say, that is what they're trying to achieve or measure or prove, that if there is a relation between them or not. Okay, so that's why, so if there is a relation there or not, if at all this minoxidil um, promotes your hair growth, only the desired part or the other part of the body, that is what you are what do you say, that is what you're trying to achieve through the trial. So uh, there is no relation. I'm not very sure what you're understanding there is. So it completely depends upon the sponsor, that if there is no so the study it will be depending upon the study's objectives, that if they're trying to show that there is no relation, that they will conduct the trial in that manner, where then that will be their primary endpoint. If they're trying to prove that there is no relation between hair growth and vasodilation, so that there will be no logical use of minoxidil, as it claims that it will regrow your hair, right? So it depends upon what will be the sponsors desire or what they're trying to prove, that will be their primary endpoint. Okay, so I'm not sure if it is clear. If it is still not clear, we can discuss it later also. But then if it is not clear, please let me know, like we can discuss it. Okay, so what we're talking about interim analysis. So yeah, so when a trial is going on, so suppose as I'm mentioning that the trial is a very long process and very expensive also. So we, while running a trial, we must know if it is going to a right direction or whatever information that we are trying to. Correct. So it's, so what you're saying, so it is not our concern whether the vasodilation or hair growth is actually connected or not. So whether it is connected or not, that is what we are trying to achieve from running the trial. So when we will be running the trial, if that is what we want to know, that whether vasodilation and hair growth is related or not, then that will be our primary endpoint for the study. Okay, so if the sponsor is trying to get to that information, whether it is actually does that work or not, then that will be their primary endpoint. And while they will be applying, so when, if this is our study and we are applying, or I think minoxidil tablets are also there, mostly application. So when that application is anyway happening, so what it says that minoxidil will bring back your hair, right? So, and what will be the, whatever may be the mechanism, I'm not getting into the mechanism right now. So along with the if suppose you're applying it on your hair and you're trying to bring back your hair, but then it also says that it increases your facial hairs, and it can be some other bodily hair also. So that could be, as you are already putting or applying minoxidil to do this research, whether it causes vasodilation or not, which is your primary endpoint. Arbitrarily, I'm hoping that we are running a trial where we are checking this. But then additionally, if the patient is already putting minoxidil, then we can also additionally see by putting minoxidil if the other body facial hair is growing or not. That can be my secondary endpoint, because as and when anyway patient is taking that medicine, applying that medicine, so what can addition other effect, that other effects can also be, that we can also additionally check. Okay, Rudra is saying, means it's not always like the primary endpoint or linked to the secondary endpoint. uh, Not that way, Rudro. Suppose it is connected, it's just that how do I say? If I say you in layman language, let me give you a very. So suppose you do yoga, okay? Okay, let's see what Jagadish is saying, and then I'll see. So means primary outcome is the survival point of the patient, and secondary outcome is particularly related to indication like whether the cancer tumor reduced or not. Yes, but Jagdish is saying that so means primary outcome is the survival point of the patient, and secondary outcome is particularly related to indication with whether the cancer tumor reduced or not. Jagdish, you are right, but uh, it could be vice versa. It depending upon the sponsor, whether by or particular, suppose drug A reduces the tumor size also, and drug A, as it reduces the tumor size, it might also increase the survival time point of the subject. But to get approval or to come into the market, what the sponsor is claiming, if they want to claim that this medicine is reducing my tumor, okay, when they will be, suppose everything gets approved and if the drug A comes to the market, then if the main focus point of that medicine is this medicine reduces the uh, tumor size, so if they wants to go with that, and that is the main point that they want to check, then the primary outcome, it completely depending upon the sponsor what primarily they want to check. It could be vice versa also. The survival point can also be primary endpoint of the study if sponsor decides to measure that explicitly. Okay, if you are giving a drug anyway, the reduction of the tumor is happening, and in return, suppose there is no medicine, suppose there is a cancer patient, that person is not taking any medicine anyway. Suppose that person is going to die in 2 months. Now there is my study drug A which I am giving. So because of the study drug, instead of 2 months, he would have died in anyway in 2 months, but then now he will be living for 6 months. Okay, so it's a two-way street. It is reducing its cancer, reducing its tumor size, and it is giving him 6 months to live. So both the outcome is happening. Now it depends upon the sponsor, which is important to more important to them, whether they are focusing right now on the reduction of the size of the tumor, or they are focusing on the life expectancy of the subject. So it depending upon the trial design, um, it is completely how they're designing the trial. Okay, so it will be mentioned, there is nothing to do on our part. We have to know that based on sponsors decision, what is the endpoint of the study, and work accordingly. Okay. Correct. So anyway, when we are running the trial, we are getting a lot of insights, a lot of information and inputs. So we can't just overlook them. Additionally, whatever our primary focus, we are anyway doing it. So along with that, what are the other information that we are gathering that can be included in the secondary endpoints? But that's a good question and discussion that you guys that we are having. If you still have any questions, you can keep putting in and we will discuss. And I'll quickly do this interim analysis. um yeah, we are 1.5 hours in. So after with this, we will conclude uh today's class. So yeah, so interim analysis is as we need to know if we are heading to the right direction. So in between, suppose 2 months, 3 months, depend upon if it is a 6 month study, then maybe 3 months down the line, or maybe if it is a 2 year long study, then maybe 1 year down the line, interim analysis happens. So interim analysis means so far whatever data has been gathered, they take a screenshot of it. Okay, so we, like the CDM people, we need to do the analysis and clinic of the data, and then they look into the data whatever so far has been gathered, and take the insight and decide if the the study is heading to the right direction. If it is, then they continue with the data trial. If not, then they have the sponsor have the liberty, because they are the decision makers at the end of the day. So if suppose a study drug A is getting tested, and there is a lot of adverse event which is happening more than expected, or the main motto of our clinical trial is always the benefits will be more higher than the risks, but then maybe 6 months down the line, you can see that there is a lot of other reaction, unwanted or unprecedented, that you did not take into consideration, that these can also happen, is happening. Unexpected adverse event is happening, or some other problem is happening, which is no, which is making the trial risky. Then if they see that the outcomes are not desirable, then they might consider to close down the study. Or maybe sometimes they can change the inclusion exclusion criteria also, that there could be many different decisions, administrative decisions that they can be taking based on the interim analysis. So interim analysis is a cross checking of so far whatever data in between, to check if the trial is heading to the right direction, and what is the health of the study, how whatever is expected is going good or not. So that event is called interim analysis. Okay, I'll read the comments. Primary, yeah, Yasmin's comment is done. Jagdish, okay, ma'am. is it that it's all depend on what sponsor wants as primary and secondary outcomes, so it is written in the protocol before the trial is conducted. That's correct, Jagdish. It's none of our purview and none of our headache to think of. We are given the endpoints and we have to work on it. It's completely the sponsor's purview what they want to achieve. Not always during clinical trial, not all study is done for the effectiveness. Sometimes, for the comparison of the data also. Suppose there is I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose paracetamol is a product. Now in market there is Dolo, there is crocin, there is something else, there is other names. So sometimes the similar different products of similar name, that is also getting comparison trials also happens. Different kind of trials happen, so it solely depends upon the sponsor what they are wanting to achieve from the trial, and primarily that becomes the primary endpoint. It's completely their purview. We are the secondary line of chain of command. So whatever they decide, we will be working according to them. Okay, hope that clarifies. If you still have questions, you can ask me. Okay, there is somebody else who is asking question. Obscene MS. First of all, design of clinical trial is there. uh Hi, Asbin. I'm not sure I'm correct, pronouncing your name correctly. I think you're a new person. First of all, I did not understand your question. Design of clinical trial is there. Could you please reframe your question? I did not understand your question. And I think you are a new person who is in the class. So could you please introduce yourself and reframe your question? I do want to answer your question, but I'm not getting your questions. Do you want to study the trial design, or you are asking a question? Please let me know. Okay, so we are 1 hour 40 minutes into the class. We will finish our class here today and then continue on the next day, because we will be next discussing some very important concepts, that is called randomization and blinding of the data. So 1 minute. Yeah, so we will I don't want to hurry, because we have to discuss it in a detailed manner, what is randomization and what is blinding. I gave you a glimpse of it. Randomization is when I'll just briefly say and then we will discuss it further. So randomization is when a patient, when the entire reason of doing clinical trial, there is, it has to be ethically correct, and it should be fair. Clinical trial, if you're running a clinical trial, it should be fair. Okay, there should not be any bias. If you cannot say that, you cannot show any preference that maybe that person is more sick and that person is more I know that person, and something like that. So you cannot bring in any bias into the clinical trial process. So that's why, to reduce the bias, we need to do a randomization of the subjects. It has to be divided randomly to the patients, and when the randomization happens, only the person who does the randomization, they know the information. Rest the participants, the there are concepts like blinding, single blind, double blinding of the trial, where if it is a single blind, then only patients does not know that what is the medicine that they are taking, but the investigator knows. And there could be a double blind process where the investigator and the patients both don't know that who is getting what to. Why this is done, I'll tell you briefly. Because when you are sick, it is definitely physical, but it is also mental. Many a times we say that oh, we visited the doctor, and after talking to the doctor, I already feel very good. So it is a psychological event also. If you feel good, then if you're reassured, why when you are doing a test, and then you're speaking to the doctor, and he's saying, no, no, don't worry, things will go fine, then you feel relieved, and that is a psychological, and you feel, okay, maybe I'm not that sick, I'm feeling better now. Okay, so there is a lot of psychological aspect to it also. So to and that might interfere on the judgment of the trial data. So that's why it is better to keep everybody blinded about the information, so that whether the medicine is reducing your pain or not, that can be decided based upon your result, not upon whether you are thinking your pain is reducing or not. So there will be any psychological away from blinding will help you keep your psychological aspect away from the trial, to keep it fair. So that's why randomization and blinding is done. So we will discuss it later in the next class in little detail. Okay, so far we have, so we will uh, we will just go through the, just for a revision purpose. Just a moment. Yeah, so for revision purpose, so far from the beginning of the trial, what we have learned is, we learned about, yeah, so we got to know about informed consent. We need to take informed consent from the participant. To summarize today's class, informed consent is important, protocol is important, cohort, we divide patients into groups, that is called cohort. Placebo, that is the non-experimental drug, along with the experimental drug. The control group receive some other treatment which is not the experimental drug, and which does not have any therapeutic value, so that is called placebo. And the investigational product is the product, the drug, device, or the biological being that is getting tested, and that is called the investigational product. And then we have also learned about control group, the endpoints, and the interim analysis. And also we briefly got to know what is randomization and what is blinding of the data. Okay, blinding also is a very important aspect, and we will be discussing. And we also saw the informed consent format and the protocol format too. So so far we will be concluding our class here, and then we will continue on the next day. And definitely remember, uh, on each class, in the beginning we will do this simple quiz, to just quickly refresh our memories of the previous class. And so thank you for 10 people to stick towards the end and do the class. If you have and I like the discussions that we have, you keep bringing on your questions. If right away you do not the question does not pop in your head, if that comes, we have our group, you can pop in your questions there also. I will be happy to help. Thank you, Yasmin. Yasmin is saying thank you, ma'am, for wonderful class. My pleasure. I'm so happy that you guys are so eager to learn. I'll try my best to give you as much information that I have gathered so far while working in the industry. And Miss Asbin, that's how I could pronounce. Please mention who are you, where are you coming from, and please mention your question, so that I can answer your question. And thank you for being in the class. So today, we will be concluding our class here. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay. um, so Thank you all, Rudro, Yasmin, Dibyojyoti, and everybody else. Okay, see you in the next class. Bye.